Hello, everyone. This is Linda Ferguson.
Karen Nelson Bell.
And welcome to the first Platinum Prime for Life episode of 2026.
Yep.
It's the beginning of the year, and I know you and I have talked about goal setting quite a bit over the past, actually, couple of years that we've been doing this podcast. But I want to revisit it again because one of the things I noticed a lot of people saying, it wasn't necessarily true for me, but I observed it just in going through my social feeds, was 2025 was a year that is best left in the dust, and this is a new year. So it was rough for many people. So what we're going to be talking about today isn't goal setting directly, but it's how to choose those goals for you that are just right for you. And we're calling this episode Do More of This and Less of That to Get Exactly What You Need.
I like it. I love it, in fact.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like people have a lot of peer pressure in setting goals. Don't you agree?
Absolutely agree. Peer pressure for the major goals that you think of when it comes to mind are health, wealth, and relationships. I think those three areas are the biggest ones that you see people setting goals in. And it's been, well, it can be discouraging because you can go off your goal like 24 hours later from when you set it.
The health, the wealth, or the relationship? What one?
I had an unusual year, to be honest, Linda. My goal setting is pretty intentional. I've been setting goals for a long time, like for decades. And I've been putting them on paper for decades because statistics prove that if you write them down, you have a better chance. Statistically, you have a better chance of them happening if you write them down. And so I've been writing them down, and just maybe that's because of my nature of journaling, or because I'm a writer. That's why I do that. But I chose goals that were wildly inappropriate and wildly unattainable this year. So as you're talking about goal disappointments, I have a really interesting perspective when we get to it.
Okay, good. You're talking about not this year, but last year you set wildly unattainable goals.
Yeah.
In your
2020. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did you decide? Tell me your process. How did you decide they were wildly unattainable?
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I've been in pain, chronic pain, for 35 years. And I haven't until just recently talked about it a lot, because why would I? I basically try to put it under the carpet, and I don't think most people who know me, they probably don't know that I've been in chronic pain for 35 years. They probably don't. And so at the beginning of the year, I said, I'm going to cry. I'm so sick and tired of being in pain. My goal for the year, and I wrote it down, and I just looked at it over the holiday weekend. I go and I review all the things that I'd written down. And I looked at it and I was like, my goal was pain-free in 2023. Pain-free I wanted to be. But at the beginning of 2025, let's all thrive in 25. I don't have a motto for 26 yet. But the biggest goal was to become pain-free. And I had no clue of how to do that, because I've been searching for 35 years. So it was driven by necessity. That goal was driven out of something that was negative in my life, and that I really desperately wanted to change.
I'm going to interrupt you here, because you just said something, and it's really, really important, and I don't want it to just float on by.
Okay.
You set a goal driven by necessity. And so that was the single biggest goal that you had because you needed to have that outcome. Okay, sorry.
No, that's maybe the goals that we should set are the ones driven by. I mean, if you don't have enough money to keep food on the table and gas in the tank, then that necessity would make, well, the goal for the new year could be, I'm going to become solvent, at least, like a realistic goal. For me to set a goal to be pain free after 35 years of not getting there, I think that was wildly unrealistic. But to become solvent, that's something that a person could educate themselves and figure out how to do.
Okay. All right. But I interrupted your story and I got you off track. So let's get back. So
Yeah.
you had lived with a lot of pain for a long time and you were just like 2023, I want to be pain free. And then you upped it. It sounds like you didn't quite attain that goal.
Okay.
And you moved it forward. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess I may as well just spill the beans, is that I am pain free. I'm currently pain free.
Yeah.
And 3 experiences caused that. One was that I was in so much pain with my knees that it was evaluated that I should have knee replacements, for both of my knees should be replaced because the warranty ran out. The warranty on my knees at the age of 80 was, okay, we're not covering you anymore, Karen. And we're also not carrying you around anymore because you're just too big. We don't want to carry you around. So having the knee surgery forced me, there was no choice. I had to do the rehab exercises and the physical therapy. So once again, necessity was the reason that after the surgery, I started doing the physical therapy because I just was not willing to go backwards, because there was a potential if I would do the therapy that I would become out of pain. And pain is a really weird motivator, but that was my motivation to exercise, which heretofore had not been possible. You can't exercise very well if you're in pain. So, every promise or pledge or resolution to exercise more wasn't even realistic, because I couldn't. Because if you're in too much pain, you can't really exercise. So that was a huge turning point, was getting that knee replacement, and then discovering I had two miracles, 2 products that actually, one got me out of my knee pain and the other got me out of my back pain. And so I had miracles that I was never expecting. So I think my goal for the next year is to help spread some of that benefit that I've had to other people who might have similar circumstances.
Okay. And is that the category of health, wealth, or relationships? What category does that goal fall in?
Well, health and wealth.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right. Which is really, really good. So that was an attainable goal. And I don't understand your comment on an unattainable goal.
Because at the beginning of 2025, I didn't know I was going to have a miracle.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Well, so what's the lesson?
I was going to find who if you've searched for 35 years and everything has disappointed you, why would you think there's going to be something that actually was a turning point for you? So I wasn't expecting.
I would think so. It's either you go for a goal or you give up. And if you give up, that's the beginning of the end. So
yeah, that's right.
I don't think that was an unattainable goal. To me, listening to your goal is you just haven't found the answer yet, right? You just kept looking.
I think you're right. I think you're maybe I shouldn't have said it. It was in my mind and in my universe, it was unattainable because I didn't believe that it could be attained. But I wanted it nevertheless. So
good. Well, very well done. You hit a huge goal that you now have to replace.
Yeah.
So let's actually talk about goals. So I'm going to just share very quickly my own personal situation. Okay. And that is, like you, I've had a situation since becoming a mother. So when I can first recall it starting, and that was horrible sleep. So you contrast it with I was not the youngest mother I knew, and again, I wasn't the oldest mother. But so in my 30s, I started sleeping poorly and weirdly, and I, my then husband was couldn't think with it. Like he'd sleep like a rock. I did not, and I'd be up half the night. And that continued for decades. Now it's been decades, but it started really getting worse and worse to the point where I would have long stretches of poor sleep quality and 4 to 5 hours sleep a night. And when you combine bad sleep with an older body, it becomes this big challenge. Like mentally, it was really hard for me to think clearly all the time, or I'd take a nap in the afternoon and it would ruin my day's production. So that became critical. So my goal was a health goal as well. And that was to find out how to handle my sleep. And at the very end of 2025, I finally got it down. And
I
I'm
can't even
encouraging,
believe it when you called and said that you found it. I was like, what?
I
Because I've been
know.
with you on the journey for as long as I've known you.
You've been so helpful in suggesting things. So the reason I'm bringing up that particular goal is if you have a goal, especially one that's sort of common to many people and is a show killer, like not enough sleep robs you of energy. If you don't have energy, you don't have the stamina to carry through to hit what you need to hit. So that's how it works out for most people. When you're younger and you run into it, you just burn the candles at both ends. And at the time, you don't realize that you're actually damaging certain things that later in life you're going to need to call on those things. And if you've really fried them early on in life, you're going to pay the price later. But you don't learn that lesson until later. So I'm telling you now, see if you can pack it all early. But sleep, especially, sleep for me, anyway, it was like a peer pressure thing. Everyone had advice on how to do it because it worked for them. And then there are all sorts of companies that have gadgets and formulations and blah, 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 and this and that, and take hormones and don't sleep in a dark room. Don't ever look at your phone. Listen to music. Don't. Brainwaves, or yada, yada, yada. Okay, thank you very much. Peer pressure, like unreal. And especially if you're not handling the problem, it still is a problem. It's an unhandled problem. Your willingness to invest in other things starts going up, and you're hopeful this next time it's going to work. So, stripping it all back is I chose a right goal for me, which was handle my sleep, like figure it out. And I did all the things, including trying a sleep aid, a prescription sleep aid, which was horrible for me. Just like, no, 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 thank you. Um, and finally, with a combination of whatever, and I just sort of went, la, 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 I'm just going to try it. If it works for me, good. More than 3 nights, I know it's killer. I use an Aura ring that tracks how I sleep, and I just have a whole protocol that would probably not work for one other person ever, but does work for me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, 7 hours sleep. I got 7 hours according to Aura, and it's better sleep, and I'm getting good sleep scores, and I love it. And then what I do yesterday, so, and I'm going to bring this up because this is peer pressure, but it's peer pressure in an interesting way, in a way that Karen and I live by anyway. And that is, in today's marketing, there are all sorts of little intelligent AI driven bots that sort of just track where your eyes land on a page, what you click on, what you're listening to. And then they feed that info to an advertiser and say, hey, this person was actually interested in this subject and they're probably a good target for you. And you start seeing ad after ad after ad for the same thing. And I'm here to tell you that advertising works because literally yesterday I sent off for yet another miracle sleep thing, even though my sleep is really good for me. But this one had person after person going, oh my gosh. And they look like, the truck driver next door, or the lady down the street or something. Testimonial after testimonial. And I went, advertising works so well. And these people sounded so sincere. So why not try it? What if it's better sleep?
Well,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking is that once you've had some success, which you've had now some success and I've had some success, and we have the same story, is that everybody tries to tell you what you should do, and you have to be the curator of your own solutions, which you and I both have done. But
Mhm.
now the game could be, and maybe the goal for this year is, how much better can I get it? How much improvement can I do? How much more energy can I have? How much better sleep can I have? How can my aura ring get it up to a 100 or whatever the marker is, and can I be pain free even if I do something stupid like do 3 jobs and 3 gigs in one day where I'm setting up all the equipment, and just to see like how healthy can I get, and how fit. I've been inspired by there's buff ladies in their 90s doing, 100 pull-ups, and I can't do one pull-up, and so my goal might be how to be more fit than I am now. I'm extremely fit for 80, almost 82, but I'm not fit like those. So the goal could be more fit, and your goal can be even better sleep and even bit more energy. So just like a little bit more, a little more.
That's good. And I love it. And yes. So let's just actually talk about goal setting because you've hit on a few things that are really critical.
Okay.
So, one was setting a goal out of necessity. You need to handle something because without handling that, it's going to either slow down or destroy any other goals that you have. And so, for Karen, she was operating through pain, which was just doing all sorts of wrong things for her. For me, it was sleep, right? Now we've hit the main goal. So, we both have handles in place that are working for us now. They may not be the most elegant thing, and it may not be something I like simple and easy. I don't know anyone who doesn't, but some people like to complicate things. I actually would prefer, yeah, I just do this one thing and it's all handled. But that's not true. Mine's still a complicated solution, and sometimes my solution leaves me getting up later than I need to get. So now it's refining the goal. So actually, let's just go over common traps on a goal that's ruining your life or a goal that you feel you should have because. And so some of those things that might cause you to choose a wrong goal are peer pressure, believing advertising that isn't true, AKA really check out anything you are tempted to try, check it out from many different directions, including seeing if you can find other people's experience with it. Knowing the caveat on other people's experience is in any group, you're going to have people that are the negative Nancy's or Neils or whatever, they're going to talk things down because that's just how they're built. They expect nothing to work for them, and they're not surprised when nothing works, and that they have the opportunity to talk it down. So you need
You
to have
also,
exposure.
well,
Yeah.
exactly. And you also have to remember that there are people who are paid on both sides. There are people who got paid to make negative comments. They got paid by the competitor, and there are people who got paid to say the nice things. So you really have a hard time. I think for you and for me, we finally said, I'm going to find out in my own laboratory, but like that last thing that you just sent off for, you don't really know. Are those people sincere? I don't know. Could be really great actors paid to be sincere. I don't know. But you are doing what you need to do, which is find out in your laboratory. You are an experiment of one, as am I.
Yeah. And the other thing is so it's now an influencer driven life, meaning instead
Yeah.
of the big ad budgets that companies used to spend a lot of money on,
Yeah.
now what they do is they find people that have an audience that they are trusting that person, and then they offer them lucrative contracts to just pimp something, right? Whether it's good or not. And so you have a lot of that. So you have a lot of people whose livelihood depends on you buying the thing that the company is paying them to tout, whether or not it works for them. So just always check it out, try it out, see if there's a return policy if you're built that way. I'm usually not, but usually I'm just like, if I'm gullible enough to buy it, I will keep it unless it's really a fraud. But we've got a filter. It's called more of this and less of that. And it really goes over something that Karen actually touched on, which was you look over how your last year went. Really? You look it over with a scrutinizing eye, like not what you want to hear, but really what produced results. And this is really what we're talking about today. And you want to know what actually worked for you. What is a thing or things that you did, including who you're hanging out with, what you were studying, what environment you were in, what activities you did, what exercise you did, and so on. But those things that moved the dial forward in your life. And they don't have to be dramatic. It may be instead of getting up at 6, I stayed in bed an extra hour. Pertinent to me. But whatever it is, take note of it. And then you also want to find out what are the things that pulled your energy away from you, that drained you, activities that maybe they were good on the surface to do, but you wound up having it costs more to do that thing than to do it. It cost you more, meaning it had more of a negative impact than it did to make the effort to do the thing. And it could be something like if Karen went out and started jogging, deciding she needed to jog for a mile every day, and that caused her knee to swell up. Well, it takes energy to run a mile, obviously, but then the negative side of it over a long period of time may be a much higher cost than what she's willing to pay. You may have friends like that, guys that are just draining your spiritual energy. You can have a job, a negative environment at a job that even though you're able to take enough money home, the cost to you in shortened happiness and health in the long run is a high price. Okay, so what worked, what didn't, and what gave you way more energy and the best results where you did a little bit of that and the payoff was tremendous. Could be like intermittent fasting comes to mind. Karen's like not eating sugar comes to mind. So that's the concept.
I think one of the big goals that people set is weight loss because the nation is pretty much overweight or metabolically dysfunctional. Their metabolism, they may be pre-diabetic or whatever. And so weight loss is one of the big areas of interest. And for me, the weight loss had to come about because the heavy, when I was 100 pounds more, it hurt. It hurt to be overweight. I'm not sure. I don't want to fat shame anybody. That's for sure. You get to choose. But I don't think that you can be grossly overweight and healthy at the same time. I don't think it's possible. And for me, it meant pain. So and I finally made the connection that sugar, wheat, and corn or alcohol, anytime I ate one of those things, the next day my pain increased. So finally, I was like, wait a minute. The corn really makes, and I love corn. I love popcorn. I love everything made out of corn. Oh my gosh. And the next day, I have pain. So how stupid am I to continue eating corn if it makes me have pain? So it's
Right.
all kind of tied together. So this weight loss thing is really important, and I think also when you are overweight, that it impacts your sleep, it impacts all your overall health. So I think it's a very valid goal to want to lose weight. But how about if you reframe it into what you're talking about, less of this, more of that?
Mhm.
Instead of having a weight loss goal, have a health goal. Like I can see that my excess weight makes me not able to walk for 100 yards. Well, my goal is to become healthy enough that I can walk 100 yards. Something along those lines, where it's something that you could actually do. I don't know, am I on the right track here?
Yeah, totally. I have 3 questions that you can ask yourself that will help you choose the right goal.
Okay.
This is looking at your last few years. So the first question is, what activities created momentum, peace, money, better health, or better connections, relationships?
Yeah.
So what activities were you doing that created momentum, peace, health, money, better connections with others? Okay,
Yeah.
that's question number 1. Question number 2, what looked productive but didn't move the needle? So you're looking busy, you're feeling busy, it's something maybe that needed to be done, but it didn't forward you in any way. And I've heard suggestions of like housework, marketing if you're doing things online, doing it yourself, whatever. But things that keep you busy, but they don't advance you at all. And just take note of it. And for those of us who actually do like doing certain things that other people tell you to outsource, keep doing those if you love them. Because satisfaction on a job well done, or something when you do it, it soothes your soul, is absolutely creating a good thing for you and a fulfillment, whatever that is.
Hey.
Okay, now here's the hardest one, because this is like self-judgment of yourself. And this question is, what do I secretly hope I will stop doing?
That's a terrible question. I mean, it's a wonderful question, but that's a terrible question.
No,
Oh my
you don't need to answer it out loud, but it's
God.
actually the one that when I went over it, I'm like, do I have like 4 or 5 answers to that?
Oh my gosh. That's terrible. That's
Uh-huh.
wonderful and terrible all at the same time. Oh my gosh, Linda.
All right. Now, so you can ask yourself those questions. That will help you identify areas that strengthen you, that enrich you, that give you satisfaction. They don't need to be big goals, by the way. And I will tell you, um, Karen's talking about setting wildly unattainable goals that she attained. So I don't know what sort of an example that is, but you can set a goal that is just, let's just say weight loss, for example. I know a whole lot of people that do okay, I want to lose 100 pounds this year, or 50 pounds, or whatever it is. And then break it down and say, okay, so that's just like 3 pounds a week for 52 weeks, 3 pounds a week, right? And then at the end of 52 weeks, they haven't lost 3 pounds a week. They've are the same or whatever. And so now they feel defeated, like it's an unattainable goal. So you need to actually set goals that are real to you, and they can be high, they can stretch your comfort zone. But you need to find goals that energize you, that when you step on the scale and you've lost a half a pound that day, or you've lost 2 pounds for the week, you feel amazing, like, oh, I can keep doing this. And set goals that are honest, meaning if you're starting out making $10,000 a month and you go, I want to up that to $50,000 a month with no clear path ahead on how to do it, that might be sort of an outgrading goal, not an honest goal, because you haven't really looked at the goal attainment side of it. Here's another one, and this one is actually, now let's just go back to exercise and health. Set goals that are sustainable. So if you say, okay, I'm going to run a mile every day, no matter what, I'm going to run 5 miles a day. My husband does like 10 miles on the bike, right? That's how much he likes to ride every day. It's not always a sustainable goal. Working, getting 4 hours sleep a night so you can hit this really hard target, that's not a sustainable goal. There's a point where things will give. And when they do, you can be pretty rough on beating yourself up if you're like many people. Like, I missed it. Oh, I just, blah, blah, blah. It's all me. All the negative self-talk can come in because you've set a goal to start out with that's not sustainable. All right. So easier said than done, but just look at it that way. And you can say, do I think I'm able to keep this up for whatever time you want to keep it up for? And if the answer is yes, you can push it a little bit, but just know that. Okay. Sustainable goals. And the final thing is, take a look at yourself as you are now, not as you were when you were much younger, not as you will be, but as you are today. And you want a goal that aligns with that, the things about yourself that you like, that you want more of. And align your goals to your life today. And if you do those things, energizing goals that aren't draining you, honest goals, it's not someone else's goals, but they're your own, they're honest to you, goals that you can keep up, that if you just keep doing this thing every day, that's a real thing and it'll take you forward, and they're aligned with who you are, you will be doing good. All right, and how many goals do you have set for yourself this year, Karen?
You don't want to know, because I'm a goal freak. So I'm just not the normal person. I have a written set of goals and purposes and the policies that I'm going to follow that go with it, and plans of how I'm going to get there. And I have like, I don't know, 8 different areas. Like me personally, I have certain goals to, one day I would like to have a romantic relationship with somebody. So I have goals in that area. And then I have certain groups that I'm a part of, like I'm a network marketer. So I have goals for that. I have goals for everything, Linda. So my weight loss goals, it's interesting because I've met my weight loss goal. I don't ever have to go on a diet ever again. And that's pretty cool. But I still have weight loss goals because now I want to have my set point be in from 125 to 129. At the moment, it's 125 to 135, and I want to keep it in a nice 4-pound narrow range. And so it's just like it's arbitrary. So I have too many goals because I know that it would be better if I just only set, 2 to 3 to 5, maybe max 5 goals or something like that. But I'm a compulsive serial goal setter. Sorry.
Okay, good. Well, and that works for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then don't change a dang thing.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you for permission to
Uh-huh.
carry with my goal.
3 to 5 goals is actually 3 to 5 major goals. You can have lesser goals and everything, but three to
Oh,
five
maybe.
major goals is a good area, a good set point,
I
right?
don't think you said major before because maybe I have goals in health, goals in wealth, and goals in relationships.
I didn't say, I said major now. Meaningful is actually a better way to phrase it. Goals that if you hit that thing, it's going to handle something major. So in your case, let's just say you have a relationship goal, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know how that fits in your overall goal. You go, well, my weight is more important than a relationship, or a relationship is more important than weight. You can weigh those things. But here's a process I learned from Shailene Johnson, who's an amazing woman. I love her.
Yeah.
And many, many years ago, I think like 2013, she had what she called a push goal, a push journal. And the very first step was to just do an assessment of different areas of your life that included your personal health, it included your finances, your relationships, business. Anyway, I think there are like 8 different things: health, money, relationships, purpose, simplicity. And you rank those from 1 to 10. And then you look over the list and you decide which one or ones have the lowest scores. And then the one that has the lowest score, you go, all right, so this is the lowest score, and or these two are the lowest scores. Which one, if I just focused on that one thing, would push everything else forward? And I loved it. And so I've used that method for years
Very cool.
because your push goal, like in your case, it might have been health, right? My push goal last year was handling sleep because I knew if I handled that one thing, it would forward all the other goals that I had set.
Yeah.
So, 3 to 5 meaningful goals max is my suggestion. And if you're like Karen, I mean, be the glutton for goals. There you go.
Goal glut.
But
That's funny.
if you like look over the areas of your life and you sort of rank them for which one's doing the best, and you don't really need to change anything there, and what one utterly sucks. But if you fix that one thing, it would add to everything else. Nods to Shailene Johnson for that one. Push goal, it will give you a good direction. All right.
I would like to declare my push goal for
Oh,
2026. Is that
okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Because I haven't even brought it up.
Oh,
I am launching the book Super Senior.
yeah.
It is written, it hasn't been edited or tweaked. There's a lot more to releasing a book than just writing it. Writing it is like the easy part. There's a whole lot more that comes. But I am releasing Super Senior because I've been yakking about it for, I don't know, 2, 3 years. I've been talking about Super Senior.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm releasing the book, and my goal, my push goal for 2026 is that the book Super Senior gives me access to many, many, many people who I can then help to accomplish what they want to do to become superior seniors, to become to live their platinum prime life. We're really united in that goal of helping people live their best platinum prime life. And Super Senior is a platform by which I personally help people get to their platinum prime life. And I'll be discussing platinum prime in the book. There's a whole chapter that talks about platinum prime and this and that. So my goal for 2026 is to launch successfully Super Senior, allowing me to help the massive amounts of people to live their best life.
Love it. All right.
That's it.
I'm behind that goal for you, Karen,
Thank you.
because that is You're living the example that a lot of people strive for. Okay, and with that, we're coming to the end of this episode. So Karen will let us know when her book launches, and we can all back her up on having a successful book launch. That'll be fun. So now, as always, we do have something for you to help you to set your goals. And hopefully what we've talked about today is helpful to you on how to choose the right goals for you and not get overwhelmed or give in to outside pressures that would cause you to select the wrong goal. Just to let you know, you are not behind in your goals, but you're refining them so that they align with who you are now and that they propel you forward to who you want to become fully. So there will be a link in our description somewhere on the downloadable guide that you can use to do just that. Set your goals for the year, do it right away, and then ways that you can determine that you are on the right track. All right? Karen, is there anything else you would like to say? Any inspiring thing for people today to help them with their 2026 goal achievement?
Well, you just put me on the spot, and I'm trying to think because I think you really covered it. I think when you said that, first of all, that necessity is the birthplace of a good goal, and that we should live an examined life so that you know where you are, so that you can decide where you're going to go. And to live an examined, purpose-driven life is fantastic, and goals show you that you have purpose. So
Wonderful.
A goal-driven, purpose-driven life is very satisfying. So jump in.
There you go. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Have an amazing 2026. And Karen and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
We do.
Bye.